Hello, everybody. This is Pallav from Team ANNAPURNA. Um, I believe we have Sapana and Nisma here as well. Um, and First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to participate, to the organizers, to the judges. And let's get right to it then. Okay. I'm sorry. Can you guys see my shared screen?
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to try again. All right. How about now?
Yes, we can see it now.
Yes. Yes.
Great. All right. Sapana, do you want to start us off then?
Sure. Thank you, Pallav. Hello, everyone. I am Sapana, and the project that we came up with is NETSI, which stands for Nepal Electronic Trade Site. And my teammates, they are Nisma, Divas, Pallav, and May. So can you go to the next slide? So our main goal is to promote our cottage industry in Nepal. So this is a chart which explains the import versus export. So on the right side, I have export versus import of raw materials. Like we export 4% of raw materials to other countries, whereas import 96% from other countries. And on the left side, it is export versus imports overall in the year 2017, where we exported 741 millions and imported 10,038 millions of products. And this is a reference that we took from World Integrated Trade Site, and the reference it is just below the picture. Can you move on to the next slide? Okay, so our goal is to promote cottage industries in Nepal. As we know, the trade or economy of the Nepal is very poor, as we are not being able to utilize our local to the consumers. So as a NETSI, we want to be a mediator between local people and the local customers, with the local production of local markets like oven sweaters, local of raw vegetables and local herbs, paintings, etc. So moving on to the next slide. So Nisma will be talking about the challenges in e-commerce.
For the challenges in e-commerce, we have like a bunch of challenges. One of them is network accessibility. All the people might not be have a network accessibility, and there's technological literacy as well. Most of the people might not know what smartphone is, and they might not have access to it. Also about the electronic payments, mostly in the rural areas, there are no electronic payments available. Considering the transparency in transaction, there we might need to consider that as well, and it affects the traditional way of trading. Plus, there are no street addresses available in Nepal, so it is difficult to locate the addresses. Next slide, please. So our main proposal is we are emphasizing on local products, such as like woven sweaters, carpets, scented candles, which are known agarbattis in Nepal, in Nepali language, and dairy products, vegetables. So both of the considering the as Nepal is a developing country, considering areas in rural areas, we might have to act differently in comparison to developed areas. In rural areas, NETSI will act as a mediator between the um, um, micro consumers and um, um,
Producers.
micro producers, and the local representative is going to be trained in the rural areas, so he can act as a mediator, and so that no street addresses are required. Whereas in developed areas, we could trade using the location filter, such as pickup, delivery, and so it is easy as that. And we did our coding in React. Using the React.js framework, CSS, HTML, JavaScript. So the question is why Netsi? It is to promote our local products, because local products are cheaper and quality manufacturing of goods, and it promotes the local industry as well. So we don't need to go on the prices for export and import. Also, there is opportunity of employment. Most of the women can also run their business. We can do remote work as well, and there's no need for technical education. Third one, it is easy to trade because we are using the representative from Netsi, and online ordering is also one of the thing to make the ease of the trading. And transportation, so like because of transportation issues in Joomla, we are not able to get local apples in Kathmandu, so that's why transportation of local products from rural areas to other places can be a problem. So that's why doing the local market, and it reduces the waste of local products. You're muted.
Thanks for letting me know, Nisma. Okay, so moving into the next, moving into here, the platform reason we plan to remove the middleman who cut into small entrepreneurs' profit margin, so as to increase the profit for the local micro producers. And we want to connect producers to retailers or consumers with minimum effort with the help of a mediator in rural areas. And it helps to create synergy ecosystems among users. And moving to the next slide. So this is how our website will look like in future. We have created a demo in coding as well. We'll do that in the demo section. So this is the web page where people would be able to sign in. They would be able to sell or buy goods. It is almost like Amazon or eBay, but we will be focusing on local markets and in rural areas. So as we know, people are not very familiar with the technology in rural areas. So what we came up with a solution to be a mediator. So there will be a mediator, but he will be from that local community. And we will give training to them as it does not require any degree or educational qualifications. So that person would be able to connect between two communities together, be a synergy between them, and help them trade between their local productions. And moving on to the next slide. Okay, so this is basically a mind map. As you can see, I have put Netsi in the middle, and it is an online platform where people would be using Netsi as a mediator to trade their local products. So the challenges that we can face in e-commerce in Nepal is network accessibility, and because of lack of infrastructures in rural areas, we do not have electronic transactions like debit or credit card in Nepal. And yes, the most the problem that we encounter in e-commerce is the lack of street addresses in Nepal. We cannot use the specific location for a delivery system in Nepal. So the target groups for our application or website would be the cottage industries, the local productions, micro producers, and micro consumers, and the working environment. That is, people would be able to work from home. They do not need any educational qualifications. So yeah, it would be very beneficial to them. And the solution we came up with is because the people are not very much into technological aspects, we try to
I'm sorry,
try.
Sapna. I'm sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt you. If you guys are running out of time. If you like
Oh,
to
sure.
move on with the demo,
Okay. So
yeah.
I'll finish this pretty quick.
Sure.
Can you go to the? Okay. So if you have, okay, you can see here. Yeah, we want to be a mediator, and then we came up with NFC balance as an alternative for electronic transactions. And the prototype will learn from users and we'll refine the website. We will gather feedback and we will think big, act small, and fail fast so that we can improve in future. And for the final design, we'll have a website with an access to selling and buying products. We'll have an app in the later stage, and then we would definitely iterate and scale in large communities. And moving on to the next slide. I think that's the end of the presentation. Thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, just let us know.
Thank you, Sapna, and the whole team of Annapurna. The floor is open for the judges
Alisa.
to ask.
Oh,
Yeah.
Alisa, they still have their demo,
Sorry.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Divas, is your npm like VS Code running?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I think my internet went out for a second. Let's do this. I'm gonna see if I can get it running again. If the judges have questions, we can get right to that, and then we can come back to the demo in a second. Is that okay?
Sure, go ahead. Judges, if you have any questions, please feel free to, about the presentation, about the idea, please go ahead.
Okay, so Santosh here. So I would like to go ahead. So actually, I am also in the e-commerce industry here in Nepal. So I just have a question, that is, how are you going to sustain? And I mean, can you please explain about your business model? How are you going, as you mentioned that you're trying to remove middleman or the middle person, then how are you going to make money? I mean, is it just going to be a social enterprise without any, or what's the sustainability model? I think we missed it. So yeah.
So for the first stage, we will try to gather their experiences or feedback. It is about running an website, so we do not mean to get any profit for now. So we'll just be doing like social work for them for now to in order to promote their industries. And in later stage, we can come up with any like point system or anything like that for us to move on or for us to get encouraged in this field. Does that answer your questions or no?
Yeah, it makes sense. But being it so, because you'll have a lot of cost incurred running a website itself, because maybe you'll have to educate your local representative. There's a cost involved, so that's why I'm very much concerned about it.
Yeah, I can
Or
touch on that point if that's okay, Sapna. So in regards to the local representative, I think the base situation would be just as Sapna described. We would want to simply create the platform for micro producers and micro consumers to meet with each other and to be able to exchange goods. And by creating that platform and marketing to the big cities where there is a lot of smartphones, we can increase the amount of activity that happens in our platform. And from there, we can change into a business model as we continue to innovate that allows us to take a certain percentage of the sales that happen through this platform. Now, obviously, if there's cash involved, then that's going to be a different story. But I think the main concern is going to be for us to provide the platform, and then through that, hopefully, since it's going to be easier for people to do electronic trading, they'll also use electronic payments. As we continue from that, we would then go into training volunteers and training the mediators. We would then go into organizing the case of travel and how we would want to do that. I think for the starting base, we just simply want to see how this works as a platform. And then as we move on, we will find ways to monetize it, which I think one is definitely going to happen within the microtransactions, just like any other company would do, where they're involved in microtransactions. And two, I think there could also be a situation where if collectives come together in order to promote individual creators, then through that, we might be able to set up a system to get payments as well and provide specific platforms, such as like making it Netsy Pro or something along that line. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Anybody else has any questions?
If any other judges don't have any questions, we'll move forward.
Okay, so I can quickly ask a question then.
Sure.
On the technology side, so is the platform you are going to build completely using like fundamental tools like React? I'm not sure what is on the back end, or you are leveraging any open source platform or framework as well?
In terms of what we were able to accomplish in the 24 hours, React was new to me. I believe Nishma had a little bit of experience, but not that much. I think in order to explore what tools we have, we would definitely need more time. But at the end of the day, I think it only makes sense for us to dive into what open source softwares are there, what other platforms or what other frameworks and technologies could we use. I believe we're definitely going to need a backend. That's something we weren't able to create. We were only able to create the front end and then give kind of a demonstration of what our site might look like. What our site might look like. But as we keep developing, it's definitely in the prospects that we want to look into open source software. We want to look into other technologies. We want to look into seeing how we can process a lot of data, because there's going to be a lot of creators, a lot of consumers, and we're going to have to make sure that the database can handle that. Does that answer your question?
Sure. Thank you very much. A quick add-on on what Santosh already asked earlier. So in terms of the revenue model you already mentioned, but have you done any research, market research on what platforms are already there in Nepal, how they are operating, and what additional value you are going to bring with this platform? Is that research being done?
Since we only had about 24 hours and we wanted to get to coding right away and figuring out exactly what this would look like, we didn't do that much research. Unless Sapana, do you have any solutions for that?
Yes, I would want to add on that. So we have platforms that focus on urban areas. They are not focused on rural areas for the micro producers or micro consumers for the local productions of goods. So I think Nipsey could be the first to emphasize on the production and the production and consumers. I mean, the mediator between micro production and micro consumers. I think that it would be a good initiative in my thought.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I have some questions, but I think because of time, we have 11 presentations. I'm going to save my comments to the end when we do our evaluations. So, but thank you. I'm not silent here because I don't care. I'm just listening and I'd like to move on to the rest of them because I know you're going to run out of time.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you so much, judges, for
Thank
listening
you.
and asking questions. I'm excited to hear about the evaluation.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Are we going to get to see any of your demo? Did that come up at all?
Yeah, I can do that right away. It's very bare minimum, but here is the screen. Are you able to see it?
No.
No.
Interesting. Let's try that again. How about now?
Nope.
No.
All right. Looks like there's going to be troubles there. Apologies.
Okay, let me do it then.
A quick note, reminder for the judges, if you guys want to look at their projects later. We have our management has emailed you the link to the project in the Excel sheet. You could look for the dev post. You could look on each group's project on the dev post as well later.
Were you able to see my screen? Sorry.
Yeah, the screen is coming now. Yeah.
So we just have like the front end. So this will be our homepage. And for the products we're listing, we're gonna list it over here, and just the contact information. For now, the backend doesn't work. We don't have anything when login and sign up does anything. So we're gonna work on that. We are not limiting ourselves to the 24-hour, but going beyond to make it work. We were not able to execute in the 24-hour period.
So a quick question, is the code on the GitHub?
Yes.
Okay, and everyone contributed. Is that GitHub like open source? Can we look into it later?
Oh, okay.
I believe it's
You don't need to do it now. You can add it on, dev folio.
Yeah,
so
you
guys can share it with us, and we could forward it to the judges. So
yes.
we are running out of time. So I think it would be better if we would be mindful about the time and move on to next team.